online.
Okay, so today we're focusing on a really important university skill and one of my favorite parts of university, which is discussion and debate. This might actually be a little different from your experience in high school, but university, creating knowledge and understanding knowledge in university is all about having different ideas and working with others to create new ideas through discussion and debate. So, what is discussion and debate exactly? Well, discussion is conversation for the purpose of understanding or debating a question or subject. What that means is discussion is meaningful, critical conversation. Often we go into discussions because we don't know everything, but we're trying to share ideas, to share perspectives, to share the information that we know, and to try to understand other people, to try to understand their perspectives, to try to understand their experiences, the things that they know, so I can update my own knowledge and so that I can truly understand something a lot better. Discussion is a way that we have conversation in a way that makes sure that we understand something as well as we possibly can. Discussion is all about constantly updating and editing the knowledge and the beliefs that we hold. And then we have debate. As you can see in the definition of discussion, we already have the word debate. So what is debate? Debate is a discussion between people in which they express different opinions about something. Debate, what differentiates debate and discussion is that debate is usually people that go into debate have a side or have an opinion, have a belief that they are arguing for or that they are trying to express. Discussion is usually a little bit more open. Discussion starts with, I don't exactly know. Debate starts with, I think this and you think this. Still, the goal of discussion and debate is the same, which is trying to make sure that we understand something as it truly is, to try to find a solution or to try to really understand the way that something works. Discussion and debate are really important skills going into university as you are dealing with increasingly complex topics. So let's talk about a few strategies for discussions. The first one is to prepare. When you have a discussion in class, you want to make sure you're prepared. You don't want to go into a discussion with no ideas. You haven't read the article or the book, because then you can't really participate in it. You don't really have anything to offer to that discussion, and you really won't understand what other people are talking about. I remember multiple times in university when I went to a class without reading first. I didn't have time. I didn't read an article. I didn't read a book that I was supposed to read. And I felt stupid. I felt frustrated because I couldn't participate in the discussion. I just had to sit and listen, and I didn't really understand everything. So make sure that you're preparing before class when you go into that discussion. That way you can participate meaningfully and effectively. Next, listen and take notes about what other students say. Discussion is not only about talking, it's about listening. So as other people have ideas, I'm trying to take their ideas and connect them with my own ideas. What are they saying, and how does it affect, how does it connect to, what does it mean for what I already know, or what I think I know, or what I've experienced? As other people are saying things, keep track of that. Who's talking? Write that down. What did they say? What do you think they mean? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And why? These are things that you can keep track of, because discussion is all about going back to the things that other people have said. And so I can make sure that I'm incorporating the things that other people have said in their ideas, or when they've contributed to discussions, so that I can connect my own ideas to what else is being talked about. Next, write down questions or things that you are confused about. Discussion is not only about expressing ideas, but it's about expressing confusion. What questions do we have? I'm confused about this. I don't think this is right, but I don't know why. because discussion is all about working together. It's about cooperating to make sure that we are generating the best information that we can. So write down those questions, write down your confusion, because other people can help you with that in discussion. Next, tell students when you agree with something that they have said. This is actually really important. A lot of times people think that discussion is all about disagreement. It's about, this person said something, I think they're wrong, but I have an idea for what is correct. Disagreement happens in discussion, and disagreement is okay. But agreement is also really important. Part of the reasons why it's important is because it helps me build alliances, or it helps me contribute to cooperation. If this person says something and I agree with them, I think that's a really good idea, I should say that. Because that lets this person know that I'm listening to them, that I understand them, and that I'm on their side. If we work together as a team, we will discuss better, we will create knowledge, we will understand what we're talking about a lot better than if we're fighting about it. So make sure that you're vocalizing, that you're voicing, that you're speaking out, not only when you disagree, but also when you agree with each other. Next, ask someone to talk more about something that they have said. This is really important. Again, discussion is not only about talking yourself, about expressing your ideas, but it's about really trying to understand what somebody else has said. So if somebody else says something that you agree with, or that you don't agree with, instead of just saying, oh yes, I agree with that, or no, I think you're wrong, ask for more information. Tell them that you're interested. Tell them that you're trying to understand. I really want to understand what you're saying here. You seem like you've thought about this a lot, or that you have a different perspective from me. Tell me more about that. If you can get someone to talk more, you're getting more information, which is helpful for you. Because as you are editing your own ideas, as you are changing your mind, or you are creating knowledge that is more specific and that you are more confident about, getting more information is only going to improve that, is only going to help you create stronger beliefs, and that's really important. So, as you're going into discussion, those are some good strategies, but as you're going into discussion, it's important to work on the useful language that we can use. So the first thing that you can talk about in a discussion is the way that you agree with someone. Again, this is important. When I agree with someone, I want them to know. I want you to know that I strongly agree with you that this should happen, or that this is true. I feel the same way about this idea. I feel the same way that you do about what you were talking about. I think that's a really good point. That's what I think as well. These sentences express agreement with other people. So when I agree with someone, I can let them know that, and then I can add to that, to what they've said. That's what I think as well. Actually, I also think this other thing, or that's what I think as well, and I think the way that we can solve that problem is to do this. By starting with agreement, other people are more likely to listen to me. And so when we start with agreement, we can have a more effective discussion. Sometimes, though, we don't agree with someone 100%. So we have what's called qualified agreement. It means, yes, but... So some things that we might want to use, some expressions that we might want to use to express that. I agree with you that this thing, so I agree with you on this one part, but I also think that. So before I talk about what I disagree, I start with what I agree on. So yes, I agree with you on this idea, but I think that this is something that we need to think about. Yes, I agree with you that this is true, but I also think that this person has a good idea, even though it's different from yours. I think that you're partially right. Or I see what you mean, but I don't think that I totally agree. Yes, you said this, and that's true, but I also think that this is something that we need to take into account, but I think that you maybe forgot this. Partial agreement is important because it says that we're still on the same team. Yes, I agree with you. I want to work together, but I want to make sure that we're thinking about this other thing. I want to make sure that this other idea is something that we're talking about. Sometimes, though, we just have to disagree. So how do we disagree with someone? You have to be careful, because if you disagree in an unhelpful way, you go from a discussion to a fight, a discussion to an argument. Arguments and fights are not going to be nearly as helpful in creating information or in creating knowledge and creating understanding between people. So how can we disagree in ways that are helpful to the discussion? I think I see it in a different way. This is a way that I have disagreed without talking about that person at all. It's about me. I think I see it in a different way. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I have a different perspective. I want to share my perspective. And then maybe with our two perspectives, we can find a new knowledge. I think I see it in a different way. I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree. One of the ways that we can avoid a fight is trying to understand another person. Even if we disagree with them, trying to understand why they have said the thing that they're saying. So yes, I understand you, but I think I disagree because I have a different perspective or because I have different information. I'm not sure that you're right. Now, this is probably the most direct of the useful expressions. But what I've done is I've avoided saying that you're wrong. Instead, I say, I don't know that you're right. I have more information. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm not 100% sure. So again, these are all ways that I can say I have a different idea or I think something different without saying that somebody is wrong. If I start with the sentence, you're wrong, that other person is not going to listen to me because they don't want to lecture. They want to participate in a discussion. So how can I tell them that I think differently without blaming them for saying something incorrect? Okay, some more useful expressions. Let's look about introducing a topic. Sometimes I know that I want to talk about this thing, even if I don't know what I want to say about it. I know that I want to talk about it. How can I do that? My favorite way to do this, and something that I started doing in my 4th year of university, was to use the phrase, I'm interested in the idea of, or I'm interested in this topic. I'm interested in this concept. I don't know what I think yet, but I'm interested in talking about it. I wonder if anybody else has ideas. This way I can introduce a topic without taking a stance or without making an argument. I would like to talk about this next. I would like to talk about this. I think it's important to our discussion. I have some things that I would like to say about this topic. That means I don't know what I want to say, or maybe I have multiple things that I want to say. I don't know exactly what the point is, but I know that I have some things that I want to say about this topic. And I'm excited to find out what they are, and I hope that you can contribute to my ideas or my perspective. Another way I can say, I think it's important that we discuss this. I think it's important that we discuss this topic that we haven't gotten to yet. That way, what I do with these phrases is I put an idea into the bowl or into the hat that other people can then pick up and run with. And the last kind of useful expressions that I want to talk about is asking for more information or clarification. Discussion is not only about talking, right? It's not only about my own ideas, it's about listening to others. So how can I make sure that I'm listening? How can I make sure that others are talking? I can ask how someone feels. How do you feel about this topic? How do you feel about this idea? I can ask someone to clarify. Could you clarify your opinion about what you just said? Or could you clarify your opinion about what he just said? Could you clarify your opinion about this concept? What do you mean by that? I don't know that I understand you 100%. What do you mean by that thing that you just said? What do you mean by this word? I'm a little confused. I'm confused on your point about this. Could you explain that further? Confusion is important and confusion is okay. If you're confused, say that. Often because usually if you're confused, someone else is confused too. If you say, I'm confused about this, would you talk about that more? That allows another person to really try to communicate what they mean in a better way so that more people can understand them. So if you're confused, that's okay, but say that and allow the other person to clarify themselves. So discussion and debate is going to be a part of your university life, and it's really exciting if you do it well. I encourage you to use some of these tips, to use some of these strategies, to use some of these useful phrases to make sure that you're having discussions in meaningful ways so that you can create the best understandings by cooperating with the people that you're working with your fellow students, and with your professors. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.